Good morning, Rabbi Isai. We are holding on like 9-10 lines from the bottom of Tes Amud Beis. Comments b'small. Comments b'small. It says in the Mishnah that if you do kmitza, kmitza is you bring a flour offering to the Rebbeinu Shloim, and the procedure is either you put oil first and then you put the flour, or it's one of these menachos that you don't put oil. But if this flour, regardless of what it is, with oil, without oil, eventually the kohen is going to have to take his hand, put it in. We actually have a new one. I could show it to you. Starting off, if this is your very, very first time, because there are people that it's their first day. So, here we go. It's new for today. Kmitza. He puts his hand in like this. He grabs some flour with 3 fingers. This was done, by the way. Guess how they did this? New technology, I'll explain to you in a second. Is that the kohen goes like this, that's kmitza. It's supposed to be done with the right hand, and he puts it into the second bowl, because that's what we're going to discuss for a moment later on also. So remember the second bowl. It must be done with the right hand. What if he did it with the left hand? No good. Not immediately. How do we know this? It says that you should fill your hand with the mincha. Now, what does a kaf mean? Palm. Now we're going back to the Mitzvah. Even though we saw the videos a bunch of times, but it's kedai to knock it into our head. Now I want to show you this video because it's important, because it's wrong. We're going to learn today that this video is bad. And let's see if you can notice what's bad about it. First of all, here, let's just show this for now. One kohen is pouring from the lug. This is a klishar. This golden thing has gedusha. All the oil in it is kaddish. He pours it into his left hand. The Torah says left. And from here we can learn that everywhere else in the Torah it's in the right. The kaf means right. Over here it says kaf smallest. Dafka over here, kaf hakoyin has smallest the left. So far this video is good. Okay. But what we're going to see is that there's actually 4 psukim that say the word left by the Mitzvah. 2 psukim are by a normal, wealthy person. We'll call him wealthy. That's how the Gemara calls it. Wealthy means he has money to buy an animal that costs $500. But if the Mitzvah doesn't have money, so what does he do? He's an ani. So he's able to do what's called a carbon oil v'yored. Shabbos? About the carbon oil v'yored. So we have 4 psukim, 4 lefts. 2 for the rich guy, 2 for the poor guy who brings a carbon oil v'yored, meaning instead of an animal, he brings a bird. Why do you need 4 psukim? So the Gemara goes through it. Says the Gemara, we're going to use up all 4 just to learn one thing. That everywhere else in the Torah, by a mincha, you have to use your right hand, not a left. Left is reserved only for the Mitzvah. What does it say? Anywhere else in the Torah, kaf means the right. Only by Mitzvah it's the left. As Gemara, but I need it for the actual halacha to tell me that one kohen pours it into the other kohen's left, not to teach me that in other places it's the right. Says the Gemara, small is achrinoksiv. So here we go. So this is our pasuk by Mincha. It says the word kaf, the palm of that. Now, first pasuk by Asher says kaf hasmalis. That I need for itself. So the Gemara, it says it the second time. Al kaf is smallest. It says also by a wealthy person, the left hand. So now I know in other places no. Ve'ema ei miod achar miod ela l'rabbis. A double negative. A double negative is a positive. So says the Gemara, we have a concept in the Torah that when you have 2 negatives, 2 don't do this, don't use the left hand, means you should use the left hand. So, let's use that and say that you could use your left hand when it comes to mincha. Says, okay, fine. Now we're going to the third pasuk, which is by the poor person, meaning somebody that can't afford an animal. Over there it says, Al kaf hakoyin hasmalis. That's Gemara. Still not happy. Menachos small. It's only over here. Maybe the third person is coming to teach us that to the whole Torah. A lot of times you see these. What's a limud? Sometimes it says in the pasuk a, and I take that idea and I use it for the whole Torah. Why would I say that's dafka over here, not in another place? So, well, okay, for that, that's why it actually says. Ooh, I've never seen this. It says arba smalas. I just noticed over here. There's 4 letters. Hey, vav, zayin, ches in a row. Funny. I don't remember that. Okay, cool. You see that in your Gemara? Because you're looking over there. Where it says smallest, it brings all 4 psukim in one shot. Hey, vav, zayin, ches. Anyway, smallest skivi. Trey ba'ani, trey ba'ashir. Okay, and here, let me just show you. Here's the 4th pasuk. And look what Yoshi did. Yishmak, all 4 psukim together. You see all the 4 smalls. Great. End of that. So what do we learn? That left is reserved only for the Mitzayra. When it comes to a mincha, it's the right. Omar le Rabbi Yirmiyah Rabbi Zera. Albayin yodei hayimanis, v'albayin raglei hayimanis, t'chsiv b'shemen, the Mitzayra lomali. You take out the word usher here. So albayin yodei hayimanis, v'albayin raglei hayimanis, t'chsiv b'shemen, the Mitzayra lomali. And it says in parentheses, which I'm pretty sure is like a pirush. That's why we take it out. It says in the pirush. In other words, we already know that the oil goes on top of the blood, and blood we know is on the right. It says in Gemara, chad lahachshir tzdodim, v'chad lifsol tzidei tzdodim. Let's see if this is going to work now. I don't know. Okay. You're supposed to put, Rabbi said, pay attention. You're supposed to put, this is very easy. You're supposed to put the oil on top of the thumb. I don't know if this is going to stick. Oh. Yeah, like this. Now, what about this part over here? Right over here. Mutter. That's why I put it like in green. Now it looks blue. Green, blue. Mutter. What about over here? Says the Gemara. Chad lahachshir tzdadim. One pasuk over here. Yimanis. To tell me that the side is okay, right over here. The chad lifsol tzidei tzdadim. Right over here, it's also red. The part that's part of the palm, the side of the palm, that's no good. So we got to tell Yoshi, he better switch it up quickly. Okay. So says the Gemara. Al dama osham, val mekoim dama osham, lemay osu. This is by the wealthy person. It says, put the blood on top. Put the oil on top of the blood. And then it says, va'al mekoim dama osham. And that's by the poor person. It says, on the place of the blood of the osham. Why do I need both of those? Lemay osu. Says the Gemara beautifully. Hanin tzrichi. This is something that you and I didn't know until today. If I were to ask you, I'll stop right here. Let's think about it. Can I remove the blood before I put the oil on? Or does the oil have to be on the blood? Spicy, what do you say? Take a guess. What does logic tell you? Again, I have blood on my ear, I have blood on my finger, blood on my toe. Now I want to put oil. I'm supposed to take oil and put it on my ear. The kohen does it, puts it on the ear, puts it on the thumb. Can I remove the blood first? Can I clean off the hand and then put the oil? What do you say? You say no. Anybody agree with him? I would say no. This is what I would say. I would say no. I agree with Spicy. He goes, meaning he's saying if the blood is there, but if you removed it, you wiped it off, no good. You cannot put oil on a nice dry hand. It has to be on top of the blood, I would think. No, it has to be on the spot, on the place of the blood, not on top of the blood. Wherever you put the blood before, that's where you should put it. Because Rachmana al Mikoim, but if it would just say the place, Havamina Dafkan is Kanech. I'll think, on the place, but not if you wiped it off. I will say, I'll think if it's there, it's no good. Why? Because it's chatzitza. You didn't put the oil on top of the guy's thumb. You put it on top of blood, which is a chatzitza. You can't go into mikveh with that blood. You can put it on top of the blood. In other words, you can put it on top of the blood, and you could also wipe it down if you want. You can do whatever you want. Since it says both on the blood of the Hashem, in the place of the Hashem, and it also says right, the right blood. Why do I need the two psukim? Says Gemara, Elo, Amarava, Yad Yad Lekmitza, Regel Regel Lechalitza, Oizen Oizen Leritzia. What's going on here? We're going to learn three beautiful halachas. Here we go. Check this out. First of all, for whatever reason, I'm talking to Mark, not to you guys. For whatever reason, when my touch screen, when I touch the box, it doesn't work unless I do it with the mouse. Interesting stuff. It says, Oizen Ayumanis, the right ear, the right hand, and the right foot. Says the Gemara, says Rava, I'm learning three completely new halachas. For whoever been to the daf, you all know these halachas basically. But if you're new, it's cool stuff. Yad Yad L'Kmitza. This we learned, that in order to do Kmitza, you have to do it with your right hand. Okay. Regel Chalitza. Oh, Chalitza. What's Chalitza? Chalitza is if you have two brothers that one of them got married and died without children. So typically speaking, you're not allowed to marry your sister-in-law. But if she doesn't have any children from her husband, then it's a mitzvah to marry her. And if not, then you do chalitza. Nowadays, we only do chalitza. What is chalitza? She removes the shoe, a special shoe, and it's tied a special way. You'll see in the video. She must remove it. But the halacha is that this shoe has to be on the right foot. That's regel. We learned that from Gzir Shava, regel, that has to be on the right. We learned from this pasuk right over here. She has to toss the shoe far. She has to spit a spit that's nikar la'inayim, that you could see with your eyes. And there's psukim, they say back and forth, mein yavami lakim lachiv shem, le'rotz is the lashon. Okay, and then it says, and at the end the bezin says, chalutza nacha. Regel l'chalitza. Oizen. What about an ear? L'ritzia. Smallis. What does Rabbi do with the four smiles? So you need two for the actual halacha that it should be in the left hand of the kohen. But what does he do with the other two? Let me ask. First of all, to tell you that if you put it in the right hand, you are doing something wrong. Because this makes a lot of sense. Because when the Torah says left, I would think, typically, especially, Hasidim, don't start out with the right. A yid gate right, rechts. You try to give a chassid your left hand, you're in big trouble. No, you're right, So maybe the Torah meant also the left, not only the left. Shaloi toimar, u'ma b'mogim shaloi nisrab is small, nisrab yamin, in a place where typically you have to do only with your right, but mogim shaloi nisrab is small, so when the Torah says you should do with your left, then it didn't shaloi nisrab yamin, so certainly you have to do with your right. V'idach, so that's one. One tells you, no, if you do it with your right over here, it's possible. V'idach, smallest, what do I do with the fourth one? The Ketana is very small. In other words, sometimes the Torah repeats itself. Just like over here, Torah started off telling you about the rich man's mitzvah, and then the poor man's mitzvah. The Torah will go through all the steps in order to teach you one thing. What's the thing? The one thing the Torah taught us, that you don't have to, if you're poor, you don't have to bring a whole animal, you can bring a bird. But all the little details that the Torah tells you with it are not there for you to learn new stuff. Say, oh, look, the Torah repeated itself. Oh, so I have extra words, I can learn something. No. The Torah repeated it just to tell you one chiddush. The chiddush is that you can use a bird, not an animal. What do I do with all the extra words? Nothing. They're not there for a riboy. They're there just to be part of the whole of that little chiddush. Lo nishnes kol parsha, an entire parsha that was said twice. Lo nishnes only for one little thing. We had this sugya just recently in Zvachim. We had it a number of times. I don't know where. Kitzer, Zvachim. It sounds, twice in Zvachim. There you go. When the Torah says the word etzba, finger, or kohen, and kohen, I should say, not or, we're going to see, or and, etzba ukuna, finger and the kohen, it means you must do it with your right. Soka Daitan, Gemara says, I would think, etzba ukuna being, you need both. The kohen takes the blood of the chatas with his finger. Important to notice this because it's the only carbon, we learned zvachim, the only carbon that you do with your finger. All other karbanas, the kohen takes the vessel and gives a spritz with his hand. But by chatas, he does it with his finger. But it says in this pasuk both words, kohen, etzba. Kohen, be'etzbai. And I learned out from Chazarah the chsiv. He dunks his right finger. Okay, fine. So I know it's the right. You tell me you need both kohen and finger, but we just finished the sugya about kmitza. Usnan comes with a small puzzle. We start off today's sugya. The kohen does kmitza with the left hand. Puzzle, no good. It only says kohen, doesn't say anything about a hand or a finger. You got it wrong. You didn't understand. Doesn't mean you need both words. One of the two words. If it says in the pasuk etzba, it means the right. Over here it says kohen. That's it. I don't need etzba. It means the right. Check this out. Another beautiful video. This is just for learning purposes. No humor. Here we go. Take a look at the center guy. What is he holding? He's holding a sheep's head, and in his left hand, he's holding like some sort of like a thigh. And in his left hand, that's a problem. Why? It says one word, kohen. We just established, if it says one word, kohen, it means in the right. How's he holding the leg in the left hand? So I get what you're asking. He doesn't have another hand to hold it because he's holding the head. But Lamaisa, it has to be in the right. So bring another kohen maybe. It only says kohen, it doesn't say hand. They bring the 8 kohen and bring the Ivarim to the kevesh. Usnan, all the limbs. Usnan, a regal shiyimim besmol, the right foot, besmol. The kohen should be holding the right foot in his left hand. There's a halacha, it should be proper. You should hide the incision mark of the animal where you cut the leg off, put it against you just show a nice piece with the skin. You see that the kohen can hold it in his left hand. Says let's say when I'm doing zrika, mitzvah, whatever, things that are ma'akiv, that has to be in the right. Walking the Ivarim to the Mizbech, let's say I don't do it, the carbon is still good. What about Kabbalah? To receive the blood here, if you don't like blood, do not look. Kabbalah Saddam, you do Shchita, with the right hand, you receive the blood. What if you do it with the left? Doesn't say hand, it says the word kuno. And we learned, Kiba b'small pasal. If he accepted it, he received the blood with his left hand, it's pasal, but it doesn't say hand over there, it only says kohen. The problem is, Reb Shimon machshir. How in the world could Reb Shimon say that it's good? Rava just said, you need one word, kohen or hand. It says over here one word, it says kohen. How could Reb Shimon say that's okay? Says the Gemara, the Reb Shimon Kamar is asking me, Reb Shimon Tarti Boy. Reb Shimon says you need both the word kohen and hand, then it becomes possible. But over here it only says kohen. Therefore, Reb Shimon says you can receive the blood with your left hand. But the problem is, Umi Boy, Reb Shimon Tarti, does Reb Shimon really require two words, hand, yad, etzba, or and the word kohen? But Tanya Reb Shimon Oimer, Kamagim Shenemer yad in elimin, etzba in elimin. Says Meforish, according to Reb Shimon Yochai, one word. If it just says yad, it means the right hand. If it just says etzba, it means the right. Nothing to do with kohen. Doesn't say the word kohen here. Says Gemara like this: etzba loy boy kuhuna. You're right. If it says the word etzba by itself, it doesn't require a second word kohen. That's why Reb Shimon says if you do Kabbalah Saddam with your left hand, it's possible because it says yad. Where? Sorry. Over here, it says it says the word kohen. Okay, fine. No. So if it says etzba, it means yimin. Reb Shimon says it's kosher. Etzba loy bay kuhuna. Kuhuna baya etzba. If it says the word etzba, that's enough. One is enough, it means right. But if it says kohen, that's not enough to tell me that I need the right. I need another word, etzba, together with it, and now I know that it's on the right. The problem is, elakayin lamali. So why in the world does it say the word kohen? Kohen by itself doesn't mean the right hand. You need the word etzba in conjunction with kohen. But the word etzba by itself means kohen, right. So why do I need the word kohen? What does kohen help me ever? You know what it does for me? B'kihunai, that a kohen must be wearing the big day kuhuna when he performs the avodah, otherwise it's no good. It's a chiyuv to wear the big day kuhuna. What about Zrika? The Zrika Saddam, it only says the word kohen. Who's not arguing with small apostle? If you do Zrika with your left hand, apostle. And even Reb Shimon agrees to that. Amar Abaya, how do I know he agrees? Because he doesn't argue. Amar Abaya, Brisa. You don't know? It's a Mefursh Brisa that he argues. The Stallion says in the Brisa, keep it with small apostle. Reb Shimon Machshir. Reb Shimon says that Kabbalah Saddam could be with the right. Zarg with small apostle. Reb Shimon Machshir. Remember this, Rabbi said there's a man Da'amar called Reb Shimon Bayochai who says you can do the Zrika of the blood on the Mizbeach with your left hand. You can do the Kabbalah with your left hand. You can do the Zrika with the left hand, and it's all good. It says by kmitza, it says v'komatz. What's the next word? V'komatz ha koyen. So koyen means the right. So why do I need the special words yad to tell me that it's with the right? If one word is enough, koyen is enough to tell me that it's with the right. So why do I need yad? I learned from the word koyen. Says Gemara chad lekoymetz v'chad lekiddush koymetz. So that's what we saw in the beginning of this shir. Right over here, the kmitza must be done right over here. He's doing it with his right, but also putting it into the second vessel must be done right over here with the right. That's what I do with both. But the problem is, Reb Shimon doesn't need this last step that we saw. This last step, that he takes the kmitza and he puts it into the second vessel, you don't need that. You can take your kmitza from the first vessel directly to the mizbeach and put it on the mizbeach. The boy kiddush koymetz Reb Shimon, but even according to the man, it says that Reb Shimon does require to put it into the second vessel. Ubesmoil. And he allows it with the left hand, yad the rav alamali. So what is he going to do with the two words that say yad, which mean with the right? Ila kmitza gufa, to tell me that you should do kmitza with your right hand, I'll leave it to Reb Shimon. He already learns. Reb Shimon learns it from somewhere else. My time with Reb Shimon, why does he hold? He can do with the left. I'm sorry, that the kmitza has to be done with the right. How does he know that? The it says in the pasuk, "Kodesh Kedoshim hi kachatos v'chashim." The mincha is like a chatos, like ashim. What does that mean? Bala of the biyad. If you're performing an avodah with your hand, meaning kmitza, of the biyamin, you must do the kmitza with your right hand. Kachatos. We said that a chatos is the only one of the korbanos that you do the zrikas adam with your right hand, not with a kli, with your hand. Whereas other korbanos. Here, this is like a regular zrika. It's a little weird, this one, because he goes backwards. But he throws it with the kli. That's all, every other carbon, you have to do it like that. On the southwest corner, shnaim shemarba, etc. But balavda bekli over the besmal kasham. Akopanim. The bottom line is, what does Reb Shimon Bar Yochai do with the word yad? Two words. If he's going to use a vessel, he should do it with the left hand. If he does kmitz, he should do it with his right hand. But I don't need yad for that. Says the Gemara, when there's a sinner, a guy that does a chet, and he has to bring a carbon, but he can't afford it, so he brings flour and he doesn't add any oil. Why? Because I want to make him feel that he did an avera. He's not going to bring a beautiful carbon. So since Reb Shimon explains. that you don't put any oil in it. You don't put any levine in it. Why? You don't want him to give a beautiful carbon. He comes to nam smart discussions. If you do it with the left hand, no, it fits right in. No oil, no levine, just left. Kamash malon, that even a minchas choita with the word yad, I learned it has to be with the right hand. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDY.com.